Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John, how's the apocalypse treating you?
Doing okay. I think slightly fewer things were on fire this week than the week before, so...
Progress!
Yeah. I think we're doing okay. How about you?
Good. Not as many fires. The insanity is becoming the new normal, I guess. We've had a few like peaceful protests and marches around my way, and we had one. I think we actually had two in Montclair, and one in Bloomfield, like literally down the block from where I live, and it's quite a time. It's like this definitely feels like different. Like this hopefully this will all lead to some big change.
It feels like it is something big happening, and I don't know what, but it feels like it's like a paradigm shift, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we are going to look back on this and be like, yeah, this is when it changed.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't that long ago where just saying Black Lives Matter was like a controversial kind of statement, but now I see it on commercials and just in advertising and just companies tweeting out like, "Hey, Black Lives Matter." Like now it's like kind of just like become commonplace now. It's like, oh,
Sesame Street was tweeting it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've lost the Muppets, I think it's safe to say that you are on the losing side of history.
Thank you. Even Elmo knows. Elmo's woke.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sesame Street, Children's Television Workshop, they've always been pretty progressive and pretty woke about that stuff. So, so kudos to them.
Elmo, stay woke.
Thank God for Muppets. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, they're the guiding force for all of us, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's probably a controversial statement in this day and age, but thank God for Muppets.
Oh, man. You feel like somebody on the other side of things is like, oh, Muppets aren't the guiding force of anything. It's really about, spit and image puppets or something like that. Or, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
There is probably some hardcore guy in England who feels that way. And I'm just going to wait for the guy in the motorcycle to finish leaving the parking lot outside me. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's really manly, I'm sure.
Listen to my motorcycle. I'm a real man.
Yep.
My penis is huge.
Exactly. He is going to be so embarrassed when he listens to this podcast.
Oh,
zing! Motorcycle dude.
That's right. We got you. We zinged you.
But you just hope everyone out there is staying safe and staying sane and making your voice heard however you can.
Exactly. Just stay safe and make the change you want to see in the world. And I don't know. This is unprecedented times. I feel like we're living through history, actually.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. And speaking of history, this is a really bad transition, but it's the best one I got. We're going back to the 1960s, back to 1969, a not at all chaotic year, to cover Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me.
That's right. Movie came out June 11th. We're in June right now. June 11th, 1999. Directed by Jay Roach, written by Mike Myers and Michael McCullers. $33 million budget, made $206 million. This was a big old hit. I remember this being like a huge hit.
Yeah, and it was, the first Austin Powers movie, it did okay in theaters. It didn't do really great. It wasn't like this huge mega blockbuster hit. I think most of its audience discovered it on home video, on like what back then would have been VHS, or airing on cable or whatever. So it really primed the pump for a bigger sequel. And I remember with the sequel, there was a lot more in the way of merchandising and stuff like that. They were like Austin Powers action figures. I think I still have a few of the ones I got. They're McFarlane Toys did some really nice Austin Powers action figures, and they had little sound chips with dialogue from the movie and stuff.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I remember this movie came I think we said it on when we talked about the first Austin Powers movie. Like, I saw that one at home on VHS. Like, I rented it from the library. I didn't see it in the theater because I don't know, for some reason, it just didn't grab me. But yeah, I was one of those people. Once I saw it on VHS and I liked it, and I saw the second one, Spy Shagged Me, in the theaters, and like I loved it. I still remember like people howling with laughter at like certain parts.
Yeah, yeah. I have a pretty strong memory of seeing this one in the theaters too. Yeah. Uh, there is well, this is as good a place as any to tell this story. This is the movie that introduces the character of Mini Me, played by Vern Troyer.
Yes,
The
rest in peace.
rest in peace. And so he's like a miniature clone of Doctor Evil, and he and he was this big hit breakout character from this movie. And I remember I went to see Spy Who Shagged Me with my girlfriend at the time, and sitting on the other side of me was like this teenage girl, and she was just really taken with Mini Me. And several times throughout the movie, she kept going, "Oh, I want one! I want one!" And I wanted to turn to her and just be like, "That's not like a Furby. That's not like a pet. That's a person. That is a human being there."
That's a man. That's a human. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
he's gotten. I mean, I'm sure, like, he had gotten that his whole life. Like, people just walk up to him and pick him up like he's an Ewok. Be like, "Oh, you're so adorable." It's like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a grown ass man.
I even like doing research for this week's episode. I discovered that Seth Green even said that like Vern Troyer was getting a lot more attention from women on the set than he was.
Wow. Yeah,
And-
like a
yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, just because like no one had ever seen anybody like him. Like even, I mean, if even if you go all the way back to like Hervé Villachez, like he was a shorter person. Like Minimi was even shorter than him, so it was just like, wow,
yeah,
who is this?
he was what, like 2 feet 8 inches? I think I saw that when I was looking it up.
Yeah, that's
But,
that's unheard of.
yeah, yeah, and the character of Mini-Me was actually inspired by another actor who was a little person. If you remember the 1990s version of The Island of Dr. Moreau, like Marlon Brando's character had this sidekick who was played by the literal world's smallest man, and I don't remember this person's name, but it was like this strange character that they had, and apparently Marlon Brando really hit it off with the guy playing this part, and he demanded that he be in every scene with him. So Mike saw the this, and he was like, "I'm going to adapt that for my Austin Powers sequel," and so that's how he ended up getting Mini-Me.
Oh, is that where it came from?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I never saw Island of Dr. Moreau. I just remember all the jokes about it, about how it was just a really bizarre movie.
Yeah, there's a good documentary about that remake of Island of Dr. Moreau on Netflix, and about how it all went wrong. And it is just such a weird, bizarre story. It is worth seeing, even if you haven't seen the movie. I've never watched that movie either, but I was riveted by the documentary, man.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll give it a look. See.
Yeah, I should Google the name of it so I can give it a proper recommendation.
Right.
It's lost something. Give me a minute, and I'll find it.
Okay, and I'm also Googling. Vern Troyer was 2 feet 8 inches tall, which is
Boom! Nailed it.
I mean, dude, well done. Nut but nut. Okay, but I mean, this movie was a huge. This is like the movie that made Austin Powers mainstream. I believe. Like after this movie came out, you definitely saw like a lot of Austin Powers Halloween costumes. A lot of people saying "Yeah, baby" and "Oh, behave," just ad nauseum. I mean, this was like, this put Austin in the spotlight.
The documentary, by the way, it's titled "Lost Soul: The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau." So Richard Stanley was the original director on that, and he was like fired partway through filming, and that's when they had like some cast changes and stuff, and all sorts of nuttiness happened. And yeah, it's on Netflix. Check it out.
Oh wow. Okay, look at that. Look at us giving recommendations and whatnot.
That's right. We're trendsetters. We're movers and shakers. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
vaguely important. I guess. I don't know. I can't even do this with a straight face.
Oh. you're laughing as you say it.
Yeah. No. Even I don't take that seriously.
Oh boy. All right. So yeah, let's get into this movie.
Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, we open up with like a Star Wars type of scroll across the screen where they just, it opens with everything that happened in the first movie. Dr. Evil is launched himself into space at the end of the first one, and Austin is happily married now with Vanessa Kensington, played by Elizabeth Hurley. And that chihuahua. Yeah. And so then we cut to first it starts off with we find out that Dr. Evil is still in his big boy's spaceship, but then he escapes in a little escape pod and goes back to Earth. And then it cuts to Austin in the honeymoon suite with Vanessa Kensington, Elizabeth Hurley, and they've just had a roll in the hay, a sexual romp. Yes, there it goes.
Yeah, and we're going to be saying that word a lot. So
yeah, baby. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Like in England, the word "shag" is equivalent to the word "fuck." It's like
there was apparently some question as to whether or not they could use that title, but this helped the word "shag" become seen as less offensive in the UK. And there's also some interesting stuff on the IMDb trivia page about what they titled this movie in various other countries. We can get into later.
All right, let's do that. Okay, all right. Well, I didn't know that. Look at us learning. Yeah. So they're happy. They're in love, Austin and Vanessa. But then Austin notices that Vanessa is like acting very strange. She's like kind of glitching a little bit.
Yeah, when he remote control, she starts like speeding up or pausing or muting or being dubbed into Spanish, and he discovers and then Vanessa tries to kill him. She gets the machine guns out of her jubblies and tries to kill him, and he discovers that the love of his life, Vanessa, was a fembot all along.
Right. So yeah, and then we find that she's a fembot sent to her by Dr. Evil. And then she has a bomb in her head, and she blows up their honeymoon suite. And Austin Powers is devastated for like a minute, and then he said, "Oh, the love of my life, the woman who taught me to love and that monogamy was groovy, is a fembot all along. But that means I'm single now, yeah, baby." And then we go into the opening scene of Austin Powers dancing naked for no real reason through the hotel lobby.
Yeah, with the opening credits covering up all his naughty bits, and very fun opening to the movie. Even though I gotta say I have some problems with Vanessa being revealed as a fembot. I know it's just a gag, but it really makes absolutely no sense with what the first movie established.
None at all. None at all. Like I mean, yeah.
We see Vanessa as a human throughout the movie. We see her like on the phone with her mother in the first movie. She has a mother, unless her mother was also a fembot. And then like later in this movie, Austin brings it up to Basil Exposition. He's like, yeah, we knew. And it's like, well, wait, maybe give your number one spy guy a heads up about that, Basil Exposition.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand what you're saying, but I think that was done to sort of set the tone of the whole movie going forward, saying this is just going to be a fun, goofy movie. Nothing in this movie should be taken seriously. Don't overthink anything in this movie. Like even at one point, like later on in the movie, like Basil Exposition look straight into the camera and saying, "It's best if you don't overthink it. Just
Yeah.
have fun."
Yes.
Like
Yes.
so, yeah. So anything that goes on in this movie, don't over. If you do overthink it, then you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't connect to this. It just sets the table, saying this is just going to be goofy, dumb movie. Enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
And I get that, and I accept that. It is just a nonsensical thing, and they're just emulating the Bond movie formula, where he's got like a different love interest in each movie. So of course you have to get rid of the woman he married in the previous movie as quickly as possible. But as a nerd, I have to hyperanalyze this stuff. So
That's what we do. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
that is what we do, and I just had to say, yeah, it is very funny. No, it doesn't make sense, and that is not the last thing in this movie that doesn't make sense, but it is a funny one.
It's not the first thing, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, and then after that we catch up with Dr. Evil and Scott Evil, and they are on how 90s is this? They are on the Jerry Springer Show.
Dude, remember when Jerry Springer was like a thing, like a huge.
That show ran forever. That show ran in like until well into the 2000s, I think.
I think it's still on, isn't it?
I don't think it is. Let me. I'll look it up. Give me a minute. I'll find out all about the Jerry Springer Show.
Okay, but yeah, like I remember, like Jerry Springer was a big deal back in like the late '90s. Like it was on all the time. People made references to it and jokes about it. There was a movie, Ringmaster, all about the Jerry Springer Show. It was like,
okay.
Remember that?
Yes. Okay, Darren, I want you to take a guess. I will tell you this: the Jerry Springer Show has ended.
What?
What year do you think it ended?
I'm gonna say 2008.
Add 10 years. It lasted until July 26, 2018. The show has been gone for less than 2 years.
I really didn't know. I had no idea. Like I remember, like I'll admit I was a little into the show. Like just the spectacle of it was just like I'd never seen anything like it. But I remember there was this one episode that came on, and after it, I was like, "This is getting too ridiculous. I can't watch it." It was an episode where, what was it? Oh, the topic was like little people who were in the Klan.
Oh God.
I'm not making this up. And like they had like a little person who was a KKK member, and like his daughter came on, and then the daughter was like, "Oh, I have a surprise for you, Dad," and like, "This is my boyfriend," and the boyfriend came out in the black guy, and then they start making out, and everybody's like, "Oh, Jerry," and like, of course, the Klan member is like all angry and upset. And after that, I was like, I should stop watching this. This can't be good for my brain.
That was your limit. That was The show ran from September of 1991 to July of 2018. 28 seasons, 4,969 episodes.
God damn! Wow. This is America.
That's we're dumb.
We're so. What were we even talking about? We're so dumb.
I don't know. I think I lost some brain cells just thinking about the Jerry Springer Show for this long. But anyway, Dr. Evil and Scott are on the Jerry Springer Show trying to work out their fractured relationship. And the theme was like, my dad is trying to take over the world, or my dad is evil, or something like that. And it's a typical Jerry Springer episode. And this is an interesting thing. I found out, like, just looking at this sequence in the movie, I was assuming, they went to the Jerry Springer set and they shot it on the Jerry Springer set. No, they recreated the set of the Jerry Springer Show. And they shot it on the studio lot, apparently, because I found a behind the scenes thing where Jerry Springer's like, "Oh yeah, this is very, very close to our set. There are a few little things that are off, but it's really, really close."
Okay. So you think there was like some Jerry Springer purist that was like, "No, this isn't the set."
Well, I imagine it was just cheaper to fly Jerry Springer out to California to shoot that and then recreate the set than to fly the whole cast and crew out to wherever they shot the Jerry Springer show. um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I found that kind of interesting. So we're not looking at the genuine Jerry Springer set.
Boo! I want authenticity.
Yeah, but I think they had the real bouncer on there. So
Oh, that's pretty neat.
yeah, it looked like
All
the
right.
same guy. I don't know. I never watched too much Jerry Springer, but
Wow.
we got Doctor Evil and Scott, and they're bickering, and Doctor Evil's belittling Scott, and he's like, "You're quasi evil. You're you're the Diet Coke of evil. You're just 1 calorie, not evil enough."
Mm.
Uh, it's this was okay. I thought the Jerry Springer sequence went on a little long. Like the novelty of it wore off really quickly for me. But
Yeah, like I mean, I imagine if you were watching this when this came out in '99, when Jerry Springer was at his peak, then
mhm.
that joke would be like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" Like, there's another joke kind of like that where it's of its time later on, but we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
like the very topical humor, it'll hit you really hard at the time, but it doesn't always age especially well. So yeah, and this was probably an example of that. So I mean,
No,
this was the funniest it's ever going to be in 1999, and then like 20 years on, we're just like, oh yeah, okay,
no, I agree.
yeah.
So then after that, we cut to Austin Powers just driving off in his Jaguar. He has a AOL in his car now, and Basil reaches out to him.
Hmm.
Then this is where Basil's like, "Oh yeah, we knew Vanessa was a fembot all along." Oh well. Anyway, here's your next mission.
Right, and he says you're going to do a photo shoot with these two supermodels, and one of them is working for Doctor Evil, and then we get one of our next celebrity cameos in the movie is that I'd forgotten was in the movie was Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah, yeah, and she plays one of the models, and also we have Ivana Humpalot, played by Kristen Johnson, who was in Third Rock from the Sun.
That was a good show, and she was good on it. And I believe she's on the show Mom now, which I don't watch, but it's nice that she's still out there, still working. Yeah, very very talented comedic actress.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, very underrated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And
she's fun, and and she and Austin start to seduce each other. There's some heavy flirtation going on.
yeah, she's a Russian model with a thick Russian accent, and of course, she can't be helped but be wooed by Austin's mojo and charm. So of course, you know the they of course their spirits collide, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to Doctor Evil. We discover his new headquarters is in Seattle, and he's got a Starbucks in his evil headquarters. A lot more product placement in this movie because apparently all the corporate people realize like, hey, this could be a big movie, so let's get in there and so we've got Starbucks in there, we've got Heineken in there, we've got Volkswagen.
Virgin
Oh
Virgin
yeah,
Airways and whatnot is in it.
yeah, a lot of corporate placement in this movie. So we got the Starbucks, and it's cool that I guess that Starbucks had enough of a sense of humor about themselves that they let themselves be in Doctor Evil's lair.
Yeah, it's like,
And
yeah, that's fine. We're pretty
yeah,
evil.
and this is the scene where we introduce the character of Mini Me, who is a clone that is 1/8 Doctor Evil's size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's. I remember like when he first comes on the screen, it kind of takes your brain a minute to process it. It was like, oh wow, no,
Mhm.
he's a real person and he's really that small. That's
Yep.
whew, it
Yep.
takes
Yep.
a
Yep.
minute. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And we also have, as I said before, Scott Evil, and then Doctor Evil's other sidekicks, Frau Farbissina, and Number Two from the first movie, played by Robert Wagner and what was Mindy Sterling.
Right, and Frau has a taking on a female companion. She speaks. She's indulged in the love that dare not speak its name.
Yes, yes.
Which is
So
interesting.
yeah, it's you do you, Frau Farbissina,
Yeah.
or
Love is
you do
love.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so then Dr. Evil unveils his new evil plan. He decides to steal Austin Powers' mojo. And his plan is he has a time machine. He has a time machine that looks like the old 1960s show, The Time Tunnel, where it's like this big black and white spiral. Um, and he's going to go back in time to 1969 when Austin Powers is cryogenically frozen because he was frozen in 1967. So he's 2 years into the cryogenic freezing thing. And then he's going to steal Austin's mojo. So therefore, Austin will not have his mojo in the present day. And then Dr. Evil can easily defeat him. It's a big plan. It's a very big plan. But
a foolproof plan.
But we get to say the word mojo a lot, and really, isn't that all you want?
What the world needs now is the word mojo being said a lot more.
Yeah, and so Dr. Evil, he goes back in time, and he goes back in time to 1969, and he meets the young number two, and the young number two is played by Rob Lowe, doing a killer Robert Wagner impression.
Dude, that shit was spot on. Spot on.
Eerie, and and Robert Wagner's in the movie, so you're really inviting the comparison. So your impression better be spot on. But apparently, Rob Lowe had a killer Robert Wagner impression in his back pocket already because he'd been friends with Robert Wagner's daughters for years. So he'd spent a lot of time around Robert Wagner.
Oh my!
Yes. And yeah, Rob Lowe, underrated comedic actor, man. I mean, I know he gets a lot more props for his comedy these days because of doing Parks and Rec and all that, but he's been funny for a long, long time.
Yeah, he's got the chops. He was in Tommy Boy too, another SNL movie.
Yeah. And like just the other day, I listened to Rob Lowe. He's about to start his own podcast, and he was guest starring on Conan O'Brien's podcast, and he broke out a killer Cary Grant impression. He had a Cary Grant story where he was like friends or dating Cary Grant's daughter, and he tells the story about going over to Cary Grant's mansion to watch his after school special that was like his first big credit, and Cary Grant is there, and he's like, "Young man, you're going to be watching this in my bedroom, so don't get any ideas."
Oh wow! I need to listen to that episode now. That totally threw me for a loop.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, I like Rob Lowe. He's a talented guy. He's got a good sense of humor about himself. He tells great stories. Thumbs up to Rob Lowe.
Yeah, thumbs up, Rob Lowe. And so it's Rob Lowe and the Frau Farbissina is there, and she looks exactly the same as she does in 1999.
Yeah, that was a cute gag.
Yeah, and so it's the three of them planning to take Austin's mojo in a secret lair in a hollowed out volcano, and it's a secret lair, yet it has Dr. Evil's face kind of, chiseled in it, like as big as Mount Rushmore.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's an isolated island, so the lair can still be secret, but you still have to have your branding,
Oh, right.
I mean, when you have a chance to chisel your likeness into a mountain, you take it, damn it.
That's all I've ever wanted out of life. That's what I'm saving up for.
Exactly. Someday we are going to have, when this podcast really takes off, we are going to have our likenesses chiseled into a mountain, and we'll have a hollowed out volcano and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I got a mountain all picked out.
Oh, nice. But, then with contractors, and it's a whole thing. But
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, but Dr. Evil, he's got another Confederate. He's got a spy in the Ministry of Defense, and it's another character who's played by Mike Myers, a character by the name of Fat Bastard, who, as Mike Myers said, it's because his body weight is great for his height, and his parents were not married. That is why he is called Fat Bastard. So
I see. And he weighs a metric ton. Actually, this is actually something I want to ask you. So is fat, because the Austin Powers movies they're kind of a parody of the James Bond movie. So is Fat Bastard a parody of a James Bond character that I'm not familiar with at all?
Boy, not that I can think of specifically. I know there've been like sumo wrestlers in a couple of the Bond movies, but I can't think of a specific character that Fat Bastard would be parodying. Um, no, I think he's just kind of in that style, and I think it's just more about Mike Myers' love of doing Scottish accents.
He loves a good Scottish accent. He does a great one too. In this.
This, So I Married an Axe Murderer, the Shrek movies. Anytime Mike Myers gets to do a Scottish accent, he seems like he's a happy man.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Right, right. So Fat Bastard, he gets a device. He gets like this big needle thing, and he extracts Austin's mojo. And we feel the effects of this instantly. We go back to the present day of 1999, where Austin, he's making it happen with Ivana Hupalot, and then just suddenly they're about to do the deed, and then just suddenly, crikey, I've lost my mojo. And
yeah, so Austin needs to get that back. Without his mojo, who is he?
Yeah. He unfortunately, the Ministry of Defense, they have a time traveling car, which I believe was a Volkswagen.
It was.
Because again, product placement. And so he's able to go back to the 1960s to try to regain his mojo. And he time travels back, and his teeth become bad again. and we get more product placement with Heineken. I think there's even like, oh, take your hands off my Heine. And it's I'm drinking my Heineken.
Yeah. Oh, product placement can be funny.
It's not blatant or intrusive at all. It totally belongs in the movie. It doesn't take me out of the film one iota.
Oh, showbiz.
Yeah. And so Austin there, and there's a big swinging shindig. It's another happening, and it freaks him out. And it's the 60s, so there's go-go girls dancing in cages, and everybody's dancing up a storm to I think it was Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah,
that's Austin meets another woman with a very suggestive name. Her name is Robin Swallows, but her maiden name was Spitz. So Austin very suavely says, "Well, what is it, honey? Spitz or Swallows?"
Yeah, baby. Yeah. That's an oral sex
joke.
Classy.
Yes. And then we meet our female lead of the film. We've got Heather Graham as Felicity Shagwell, who we soon discover as an agent for the CIA.
Yeah, like remember when Heather Graham was just like everywhere for a while, like in the late 90s? Like she was the it girl for a bit.
She was. She had her. I guess I would say that Boogie Nights was her big breakthrough. I think that's the role of hers that made everyone just kind of stand up and take notice of her. But she's been in a ton of stuff. She's been in Swingers, and she's maintained her career pretty well. She's been in the Hangover movies and has done a lot of stuff. But I was very surprised. I found this on IMDb trivia, and I'm just going to read this. I wasn't able to verify this, but this is just too bizarre not to share. It says, when Heather Graham was asked to audition for the role at Mike Myers' request, she was saved from a porn career. Before she was called by her agent, she was seriously considering accepting a major part in a softcore lesbian movie after not having any meaningful film roles in close to a year and a half. The first thing she did after getting paid for this movie was buy a copy of the porno in which she would have appeared.
Wow. So wow.
I went on like a bit of a deep dive this morning trying to find like some Heather Graham interview where she confirmed this story, and I was not able to. And it's, IMDb, so sometimes you find things there that are not quite truthful, but I was like, that is too freaky.
So we almost had Heather Graham in some Skinamax tastefully erotica.
I guess so. Which is just so weird to think because she. Okay, like I'm looking at her IMDb page now. She done She did Boogie Nights, and she did a movie called Kiss and Tell. She was in Scream 2. That was basically a cameo, I think. She was in the
Okay.
Lost in Space movie. That didn't do well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
She was
The yeah.
uncredited in the pilot of the Fantasy Island series from the 90s, and then her next credit is Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. So yeah, she apparently didn't work for a while. I guess just Lost in Space did so badly that was enough to kill her career there. But strange to think, you do a successful, well-regarded movie like Boogie Nights, and you would think that would be enough to carry you for a few years, but
Wow.
apparently,
Wow. Sliding doors. Man, Hollywood is
isn't that weird?
yeah, like she was in Boogie Nights. She had a big part in it too. You think that
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, but like I don't know, Hollywood is a fickle mistress.
I don't know, man. I mean, I, I know that like if you have like one really bad flop can kill a career, but man, it seems like she should have gotten a few more turns at that before she was at the point of considering doing soft porn.
Yeah, like
uh,
I mean,
but
a Hallmark movie at the very least.
yeah, exactly. I think they were a thing in the '90s, right?
Sure,
Uh,
why not?
but I read that this morning and I was just like, whoa, that's something else. But what do you think of Heather Graham in this movie? How'd you like her?
I mean, I thought she was okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's too controversial statement to say she's never been like the greatest actress. She's always been
Uh-huh.
okay, but like I think the movie also makes a point to like in every scene she's in to like let you know how hot she is. Like
Mm,
that seems to be the driving force. Like every scene is like, wow, she's really hot, right? She's super hot. Look how hot she is. That's pretty hot, and that seems to be the driving force of her role in this movie. But yeah, I think she was okay.
yeah. I find I like her better in the dramatic stuff than I do in comedies. I don't think she's really funny in this movie, and when she was on Scrubs, I didn't find her very funny on Scrubs. So I think
Oh, right.
isn't quite her thing, maybe. But I do like her as an actress, as like a straight dramatic actress. I think she's good, but in comedies, she just leaves me cold.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, but yeah,
She's
she's.
no Elizabeth Hurley. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, sir.
Yeah.
Uh,
So so anyway, yeah, Austin's at this party, and he discovers that Robin Swallows is working for Doctor Evil, and there's a little another Bond homage when he sees like an assassin reflected in her eyeball, which is a gag they used at the opening of Goldfinger, and he Robin Swallows dies of her own hand, basically, of after trying to kill Austin, and Felicity Shagwell gets Austin out of his jam, and they go driving off together.
well, actually, no. Robin Swallow, she doesn't really die because they do this whole drawn out thing where one of Doctor Evil's henchmen is there, and he throws a knife at Austin, but then
Mm-hmm.
Austin uses Robin Swallow to like as a shield, and then Robin Swallow gets the knife to the back, and she says, "Oh, prepare to, it's like, oh, you'll never make it out alive, Austin." And then she yells at the guy, get the machine gun. And so the guy gets a machine gun, and then Austin again uses Robin as a shield to take all the bullets for her, and she seems to just not die yet. She's like, "What?" It's like, "Oh, this is it for you, this is Mister Bond. Get the bazooka." And then the henchman gets a bazooka, and then of course Austin Powers again uses Robin Schwall as a shield to deflect the bazooka, and then they both go flying out the window. And somehow she's still alive. And as they're falling down, uh, Robin Swallow says, "Oh, this fall will kill us both. Prepare to die, Mister Powers." And then, of course, Austin Powers again uses Robin Swallows as like he puts her in front of him and lands on her so he doesn't die. But like,
Right. But didn't she
yeah,
die then? Wasn't she dead by
I,
then?
I don't think so, because like at the end
Yeah.
of that, she says, "Oh, you'll never make it out alive," and then Austin's like, "Why won't you die? Why are you still alive?" And then
Okay.
and then a henchman like still shoots at Austin, but ends up hitting Robin Swallows again. So she's just this, this mess of a woman just riddled with bullets, and her face flattened by the pavement.
Well, okay. Apologies to the fictional character of Robin Swallows. I did not mean to say that she was dead when she was not, in fact, dead. This apparently is a problem for me because on last week's show, I accidentally referred to the actor Larry Miller as the late great Larry Miller, and it was pointed out to us on Twitter this week that Larry Miller is still alive. So, yeah.
Yeah, sorry
So,
about that. Oops.
apologies to Larry Miller, and I think throughout the rest of this episode, I am just going to identify everyone who is in this movie who is still alive.
Yes.
So,
Larry Miller, we're big fans. Please come on the podcast.
yes, yes. So Austin Powers, played by Mike Myers, who is still alive, drives off with Felicity Shagwell, played by Heather Graham, who is still alive. And Austin remarks, it's remarkable how England looks in no way like Southern California, which I enjoyed that line.
I liked it.
And then we see another character who is killed off in the first movie, but is back again in this movie. It's Mufasa, played by Will Ferrell, who is still alive.
Yes, all these people are still alive.
Yes, yes. And they fight off Mufasa, and they get some information about where Dr. Evil is hiding because they discover that every time a question is asked of him 3 times, he's compelled to answer it. So they have to they interrogate him just by asking him each question 3 times.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty clever scene. That whole, because I mean, we'll get into it, but like the movie does have like a lot of kind of gross out humor, but then it also has like a couple like little kind of clever jokes and scenes here and there too.
Yeah. He's got Mike Myers, who is still alive, by the way. He does a lot of highbrow and lowbrow stuff throughout the movie.
Absolutely. So so it's this thing where Mufasa, like if you ask him a question, he won't answer it right, or he won't give you the answer you want until you ask it for a third time, and that's like it's like a tick with him. He's like, oh, I hate being asked questions, 3 times in a row, so I'll just answer you truthfully the third time.
Right. And yeah, so he goes right from no, I'll never tell you, and then he's asked a third time, and he's like, oh yeah, here's what the deal is. Meanwhile, Dr. Evil, he drinks Austin's mojo, which is like in liquid form, and he
Fat Bastard delivers him the mojo in a little tube, and he makes a statement. Like earlier in the movie, he tells about how he ate a baby, and that comes, which is a very strange thing to say, but like then he comes back saying once he delivers the mojo to Dr. Evil, he sees Mini Me and he wants to eat Mini Me, like get in my belly.
Yes, and he starts singing that old Chili's jingle for baby back ribs.
Dude, when I saw that in the theater back in '99, that joke killed with the audience I was seeing it with.
Those commercials were omnipresent in 1999. Yep.
Like, the audience was like, oh, I know that jingle. That's from the Chili's. Ha ha.
Yes, I recognize that reference. Ha ha ha.
That's familiar to me. I think that's funny.
Yeah. So Dr. Evil, he drinks the Austin Powers mojo, so he's got the sexual magnetism of Austin Powers, and he seduces Frau Forbissina, and we to the tune of "Let's Get It On," and Frau Forbissina is like, "Oh no, is this going to affect our working relationship?" And he's like, "Don't worry, baby, I won't let things get weird." And
and then Dr. Evil and Frau shag, as they say.
Yeah, they do the deed. Meanwhile, we cut back to Austin and Felicity, and they're partying in Lundy's Canopy Street, which was the hip happening place in the 1960s, and we got another cool celebrity cameo in the movie. We got Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach. The
dude,
great
like,
and the great Burt Bacharach. Who,
dude, when I saw the scene, I was like, oh, John's gonna love this scene.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the coolest things. And Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach both still alive, by the way.
Both still, thank God. If we lose either one of them, I don't know what I'll do.
I will freak. I will. Yeah, Burt Bacharach is still with us. He is 92 years old. God bless him. And yeah,
Oh wow.
and you want to get their the album that they did together. It was Painted from Memory. Great album. And they done an album around this time. It came out in 1998, and it's great songs that they wrote and performed together. Wonderful stuff.
I didn't know that. Wait, so is it all like covers or it's all like original stuff?
Let me see. I got the. It's it's original stuff. It's like all new stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Well, in this movie, we have Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach doing one of Burt's old hits, "I'll Never Fall in Love Again," which was an old Dionne Warwick song.
Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to Elvis Costello's sideburns in this scene. They are amazing. They are truly a thing to behold. They are just these lovely mutton chop things that look very apropos for 1969. We salute you, Elvis Costello's sideburns.
Yeah, remember when like sideburns made a big comeback like in the 90s? Like they were a thing for a while.
Yeah, Luke Perry, he got the long sideburns on the 90210, and that became the big trendy thing. I remember that hitting when I was in college.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I had that, like the sideburns, like a goatee going on, a bowling league shirt. Just wear when you're going out to the club. I was styling and profiling.
That was the tradition of the time. That was the style of the time. We grew out the sideburns. We grew the goatees. We put on the bowling shirts. We went out swing dancing. We did all that.
Yeah, maybe if you're a real badass, you get a wallet chain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, only true '90s kids will remember this. Yeah,
right.
This podcast episode will also be released as a BuzzFeed quiz later on. So, so look out for that.
Oh, here's hoping.
Yes. So then we cut back to Dr. Evil in his lair, and Frau Verbissina. She and Dr. Evil, they're having an awkward encounter at the coffee machine at the beginning of the workday, and yeah, it got weird. And Frau Verbissina tells Dr. Evil that she's late, and just then Scott Evil travels back in time, and the implication is that Scott is, despite what was said in the last movie, that he was like a test tube baby. He's actually the natural son of Dr. Evil and Frau Verbissina. Which, yeah, if he was conceived in 1969, then he was likely born in 1970, which would make him, in the timeline of this movie, 29 years old.
All right, yeah. Again, Basil Exposition said it. Don't overthink anything you see in this movie.
I know, but I had to do the math.
Yeah, I didn't really consider that until you just said it. I was like, oh yeah, he would have been way older. Huh.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how old Scott Green was. I'm going to guess he was somewhere in his 20s. Let's see. Or Seth Green. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm mixing up the actor and the character's name here. Let's see how old Seth Green. He was born in 1974, so he would have been 25 max when this movie came out. So not too far off. Okay,
yeah,
just possibility, but
yeah,
but he didn't really look 25, is what I'm saying.
Suspend disbelief. Theater of the mind, John.
Yeah, I am. Okay. So anyway, so we have that, and meanwhile, Austin, he's afraid to have sex with Felicity without his mojo, because he's just not. It's not gonna happen. It's he can't get the mojo going, and
because Felicity heavily comes onto him, saying she wants the body, the hairy man that is Austin
Mm-hmm.
Powers, but he's just like,
And she's like, and Felicity's like this huge fan of Austin Powers. She's like modeled her whole spy persona after him. So she's really she's picking up what Austin's putting down. But
yeah,
but it doesn't happen. And then Basil Exposition calls and he gives Felicity another assignment. She says, you have to plant this tracker on Fat Bastard by any means necessary. So Felicity goes out and she seduces Fat Bastard.
right. I mean, they don't show it, but they just show the two of them in bed, and she's smoking a cigarette, and he is shirtless in what might be one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Just eating chicken, just grease and hair all over his body. It kind of reminded me of that Monty Python movie where that fat dude in the restaurant.
Sure, sure, and Meaning of Life, yeah, but with the
Yeah,
Whopper.
it was. Yeah, it was. It was truly repulsive.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it's Mike Myers in a fat suit. There's lots of folds of fat. There's like gross things going on in his body. You don't. Yeah, it is not a pleasant scene to watch. But
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
but yeah, through that, like he like kind of bends over to like get some more food, and when that happens, that's when Felicity is able to shove the tracking device up his beehole, and I guess he thinks nothing of it. He's just like thinks that she's playing.
yep, yep. He's like, oh, huh. That's what we're doing, huh? Okay. So um, and then we learn a little more about Doctor Evil's plan. He plans to put a laser on the moon so that when the Earth rotates into the right position, he can use a laser to destroy Washington D.C. And he calls this moon laser. He's calling it the Death Star, which is a startlingly original name.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before, but I don't know where.
Nope, completely original.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Completely original. And then he's doing this through this thing called the Alan Parsons Project.
Right, because the laser was developed by Mr. Alan Parsons, so he's calling it the Alan Parsons Project. Which again,
Yes.
I feel like I've heard that name before, but I can't. I don't know.
I would just like to point out that Mr. Alan Parsons is still alive.
Thank
So,
God.
so yeah, we are showing the receipts for this week's episode.
Yeah.
Alan Parsons still alive. So,
Oh, I in the sky.
and presumably still doing progressive rock, I guess, or something. I don't know. I'm not going to skim the rest of the Wikipedia page. I think he's alive, but um, and and Doctor Evil, he's demonstrating this with like a model moon and like an inflatable Earth, and then we have like one of the more esoteric gags in the movie where Mike Myers and Rob Lowe do a little sort of homage to the movie The Great Santini. Did you know about this? Did you recognize this reference?
I did not recognize this reference at all.
Okay.
This went above my head.
Yeah, the Great Santini. I've never seen this movie, but it's this movie with Robert Duvall as like an abusive father who is in the military. He was like a Marine or something, and there's a scene where he's like playing basketball with his son, and he's like popping the basketball into his son's forehead, and yeah, so it's a film from 1979 based on the 1976 novel of the same name by Pat Conroy, which I believe is the person who wrote Prince of Tides.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and Robert Duvall plays this abusive dad, and
Wow.
so they're doing like a beat for beat homage to the basketball scene in The Great Santini, which is one of the famous scenes from that film.
I had no idea. Wow, I gotta. Yeah, all right. Wow, you're teaching me, man.
That's right. That's right. I brought the receipts. Aaron Patterson.
Receipts.
um, so then we go back to the Ministry of Defense, and they've got a stool sample from Fat Bastard, which
Right. Because they were following him with the tracking device,
yes,
and
yes,
like
and they took it to a bathroom, and yeah, he left a floater.
Yeah, and then they were like, "No, we have to get a stool sample." And like, what? When they said that, I was thinking, "Why? Why do we have to get a stool sample?" I was like, "All right, I guess we got to get a stool sample."
Joke for the next scene, Darren.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, Basil told me not to think, and I went ahead and
yeah,
thought. That's
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, like back at headquarters, we've got the fat bastard stool sample in this giant beaker right next to the coffee machine, as you do, as you
as
do.
you do.
As you do. And then of course, Austin comes in and he pours himself a cup of what he thinks is coffee. It's actually a fat bastard stool sample. So wackiness ensues.
Because you think it's coffee, but it's actually shit.
Yeah, I do. They actually they milk the setup for this a little longer than I'd remembered. Like we actually have like Austin pouring creamer into the cup, and like you think he's going to drink it a couple times before he actually does. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad. I thought they'd made the aftermath of it because like he drinks it and then he's got like the brown crap all over his face. And he's like, "Oh, it's a little nutty, and this coffee tastes like shit." And I didn't think this
Yeah,
was very, but
no. Again, I'm pretty sure when I saw this originally in '99, this joke killed in the audience.
probably.
Yeah,
I don't generally go for the poop jokes. I'm
he's
not I'm
drinking.
not I'm not big on the gross out humor.
I hear you.
I just
But
find it gross. I don't really find it funny typically.
yeah, he's drinking poo poo.
Yeah, but they find something in Fat Bastard's stool that lets them track Doctor Evil's hideout to this remote jungle island, and just go with it. It's the poop led them to the island. Okay.
Yeah, there's something that. Yeah, they were like, "Oh no, there's something in the stool that can only be found on this island. So this must be where Doctor Evil's secret lair is." I was like, "Don't think." Basil told me not to think. I'm not gonna think. I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah. It's just the logic. It's just the plot is there just to string the gags on. So don't judge it too harshly. So they go to the island and I should note another cameo. We see Doctor Evil threatening the U.S. president, and the president in 1969, despite what you may have thought, it was actually Tim Robbins. So who
Yeah,
knew?
I mean, they don't say the president's name, but part of me was thinking, I wonder if that's President Bob Roberts. I mean, it couldn't have been.
It
Like,
could. Maybe Bob Roberts got a hold of a time travel machine, traveled back to the 1960s, and beat Nixon for the Republican nomination. And that is now in my headcanon. Yes.
I wouldn't put it past him.
It was President Bob Roberts. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just asking questions, man.
I did like how Dr. Evil, he's like, if you don't do what I say, this is going to happen. And then they just show a clip of the White House blowing up from the movie Independence Day.
Yeah,
That was very funny.
that was, yeah, because that movie had just come out, or like it was fairly
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah, just like a couple years before. And so Austin and Felicity, they go to Dr. Evil's island, and we have Heather Graham dressed up in like the white bikini, like Ursula Andress and Dr. No, and then of course we have Austin in the same white bikini because it's funny when men cross dress.
Men in ladies clothing. That's hilarious to me.
Because he's very hairy and he's got a lot of body hair coming out from the bikini and stuff. And yeah,
You know, and yeah. But yeah. So then we have them, infiltrating Doctor Evil's secret island, and then they go into a tent, and they're kind of looking through this. I guess it's like a secret bag of stuff that they might need to take him down. But Doctor Evil was made aware of their presence, so they're in a tent, and it's at night, and there's like a light inside. So like if you're looking outside the tent, you'll see like a silhouette of the two of them, and
yeah,
so the Doctor Evil's henchmen are outside about to jump on them, And while they're doing that, um, Felicity is like looking through the bag, but Austin Powers is also bent over looking through some of his stuff. So, like the way they're positioned, if you look at it, it looks like Austin Powers is bent over and Felicity is like kind of going into his bum, pulling out stuff.
He's pulling stuff out of his butt.
But she's actually pulling stuff out of the bag. So like she's pulling out like a rope out of his bag and a smoke bomb, umbrella, a gerbil, of course, because Richard Gere. Um, she like she like opened a bottle of something out of the bag and looks like he's opening a bottle out of his butt. Lot of butt stuff.
A lot of butt gags. Yep, lots of silhouette butt gags. So if you like gags where people in silhouette are pulling things out of people's butts, this is the sequence for you.
Yes.
So
this is the lowbrow humor part of the movie, if you didn't know. Yeah. And so then we also go back to Dr. Evil's lair, and like we see that Dr. Evil and Mini-Me have really bonded. Like he really cares about little Mini-Me.
They do a little musical number together, just the two of us.
Yes, the Will Smith song, which was big in '99. Again, this is another thing that is only timely in the time frame of 1999. That Will Smith, just the two of us song. Because like I remember when they did this song, when this scene came up, people in the audience were like, "This is hilarious," because this song just came out. But like I watch it now, I'm like, okay.
I watched this last night and I was like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember this song. I think but you gun to my head, I don't know if I would have remembered it was a Will Smith song.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically him sampling the
West. Let me put it that way.
Jim West, Desperado.
I love that you immediately broke out some Wild Wild West lyrics.
Oh my god, dude! I saw this in the theater because I had to see it from my college newspaper, and yeah, it was just like it was a packed theater. I had to sit in the front because it was super packed, and like just waves as the movie kept going. You could just feel the waves of disappointment throughout the entire theater. We're like, oh no,
no, make it stop.
Like I felt last time I felt that was when we all in a packed theater. I saw like the last Indiana Jones movie with friends, and just waves of disappointment throughout the entire theater. Like, oh no,
yeah,
this isn't good.
Anyway, so Austin and Felicity, they're captured by Dr. Evil. Austin finds out that Felicity had sex with Fat Bastard, which, that doesn't go over well. He feels very betrayed.
Yeah, and like when he was betrayed, like part of me was thought, hey, wait a minute, didn't Austin do that exact same thing in the first movie when he slept with a lot of vagina?
Yeah, he did. Austin slut shaming.
Yeah, and now he's like all butthurt because she did the same thing. Dude.
Yeah. Double standard. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could justify it by like, oh, well, Austin's discovered the joys of monogamy but no, I mean, it's just, they do whatever works for him in the moment.
Smash patriarchy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least he learns the error of his ways, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
He progresses.
There you go. Yeah. He's learning.
Yeah. So then we put Austin and Felicity into a death trap. Where they're in a little they're in a thing above lava, and the lava's get them.
Right.
I stopped taking notes on the movie. So
okay. All right. So basically, what happens is they're in like a little a trap where the floor is about to kind of go away from them and they're about to fall into lava. But then we cut back to Dr. Evil, where he launches like a spaceship, a rocket, about to go to Earth. And of course, I guess it's like a missile. It looks like a penis.
Mm-hmm.
which then leads to this whole montage of people like seeing it, and it was actually a pretty clever gag. Like basically, like
Let me just insert something here. It didn't just
ah,
look like a penis. It looked like a penis, and then it has these two fuel nodules at the bottom above the booster rockets that they greatly resemble testicles. So
yes,
we've got the whole package, as it were. We've got the rocket shaft, and then we've got the two globular things towards the bottom. So we've got a twig and berries situation here happening.
yeah, and so then what happens is that gets launched into going towards Earth, and then we go to I guess it was like NASA or something where we see Clint Howard, the
The
great
great
Clint
Clint
Howard,
Howard, still alive, by the way.
still alive, and he's looking at it, and he's like, "Sir, I see something on our radar. It looks like a gigantic," and then it cuts to like somebody else, and then it cuts to
Yeah.
like David Koechner, who's also makes a quick appearance in this movie,
Yes.
where
Yes.
he said, and he's like an air fighter pilot. So when Clint
Mhm.
Howard says, "Oh, it looks like a gigantic," it cuts to David Koechner and say, "Dick, do you see this going on here? Dick,
Yeah.
come in, Dick." And it's like, "Oh, that looks like a gigantic Willie." And then
Yeah.
it's Willie Nelson saying, "Hey," it's like, "Willie, do you see that?" And like it's this ongoing gag where they just take all these names for penises and like,
If there is a slang term of penis that you are aware of, they probably use it in this sequence. I mean, it's Johnson and Woody, and we have a cameo from Woody Harrelson, and they pack them all in there, as it
right,
were. Yeah.
pack,
So, but
pack.
but they do get very clever and creative with it. So I did enjoy this sequence. It is pretty funny.
Yeah,
It's
again,
beautiful, but it is pretty funny and pretty clever.
yeah. I thought this was like one of the more highbrow parts of the movie. It's like, oh, that's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, and we had an unexpected cameo in there. We got to see the late great Fred Willard.
Again, Fred Willard, he's in the movie for like literally a second because at this point, Austin and Felicity. Oh, we should get back to it. So they're Austin
Yeah.
and Felicity Shagwell when they're in the little easily escapable trap. They're able to get out. Felicity shows the guard guarding them her breast, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
once a man sees a woman's breast, he's like, "Ga ga ga, mama, me want," and of course, he goes after her and like he falls into the lava, and the two of them escape easily.
Yes, yes,
So then uh, once Austin and Felicity find out that Doctor Evil is on the moon, they're like, "Well, we have to go to the moon now," and so they're able to catch a ride through NASA and take a rocket ship to the moon. And Fred Willard is one of the people at NASA saying, "Oh, 3, 2, 1, liftoff." He's literally in the movie for like a second, and that's all.
yeah.
He has like one line, and then you see it for a minute. But when
It was so nice to see Fred Willard, particularly because I wasn't expecting it, and I really like that he's been in the movies we've been watching 2 weeks running now. So
right, R.I.P. Fred Willard, one of the
yes,
greats. He is no longer with us.
unfortunately not. No, yeah,
Right.
but
All right. So yeah. So now Austin and Felicity are on the moon. Like I feel like this might have been taken. Some of this part might have been taken from Moonraker, from the old
yeah,
James
I
Bond
think
film.
there's a bit of Moonraker in there. They're there and they're in their little spacesuits. They got their little and they have a fight with the henchmen, and Austin fights with Mini Me, and Mini Me like crawls inside of Austin's suit, and then Austin like manages to eject Mini Me out, and it makes it look like Austin's pooping out Mini Me. It makes sense in context, people. I swear. And
Basically, there's this whole fight scene where Austin is fighting Mini Me, and like Mini Me bites his nuts, and like Austin is like, it literally looks like he's fighting a toddler, like he's
yeah,
beating up a small
and I
child.
like they would just occasionally cut to Mike Myers just beating the crap out of a dummy. And it's obviously a dummy, but it's just kind of hilarious. And they cut it skillfully enough with the real actor, with Vern Troyer, that it really does look like Mike Myers is beating the hell out of Vern Troyer.
Very much so. So they get into a big scrap, and I think Mini Me rips a hole into Austin's space suit, and and then Mini-Me's able to crawl into the suit, and he's like beating up Austin like in the suit. You see
Yep.
you see his little legs stick out and kick him in the face and everything. But then Austin is able to take himself to the bathroom and like kind of poop out Mini-Me in the commode, and then you see Mini-Me
And
just kind of
thank
float.
God they did that because I mean there was one thing this movie was lacking. It was poop jokes.
There's a lot of poop jokes in this. It's
A lot of poop jokes. So many poop jokes.
like I'm no prude. Like, poop is funny. Hey, farts are funny. I'm cool. I'm hip, but it's just
Macarena. Sorry.
But yeah, there's a lot of heavy poop in this movie. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They go to that well quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then what happens is like Austin strips off the spacesuit. He's in like a onesie, like a space jumper, like a what's the word? Over coveralls, I guess. And he goes to find
kind of like a racing outfit, like what you wear in a pit crew or something like that.
Yes, and then of course he goes to find Dr. Evil. He sees that Dr. Evil has captured Felicity Shagwell, and then he's like, "Oh, are you going to stop me, or are you going to save the woman you love?" And then he presses a button. Gas fills in the room that Felicity is captured in, and basically Felicity dies, and Austin goes to try to stop Dr. Evil. They have like a big chase scene, and then Dr. Evil is like, "Well, if you remember, there's a time machine still in my headquarters. You can go back and save the woman you love, or you could stop me. You can't do both." So, of course, exactly. And then, of course, that's when Austin decides to run back to the time machine, goes back 10 minutes in time to save Felicity. As you do. So then at that point, then there are two Austins, because it's the Austin from 10 minutes ago, and then there's the Austin from 10 minutes, the Austin that's present Austin.
Yeah. Right.
And of course,
but we're still in 1969, so yeah, it's complicated, you guys. But anyway, the two Austins are able to team up. Like the first Austin defeats Dr. Evil, and then the second Austin, who went back in time from 10 minutes in the future, he is able to save Felicity, and once again, true love wins out.
Yeah, but I don't think, because I think at that point, Dr. Evil actually still has his Austin's mojo, but he smashes it on the ground. He's not able to save it. And then
he throws the mojo in the air, the little liquefied vial, the vial of the liquefied mojo, and then the two Austins go for it at the same time, but they bump into each other, and then the mojo crashes to the ground, and we see it just sort of dissolve and disintegrate, and little male symbols are fading in the air.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. And but then that's when Felicity is like, "Oh, you never needed it. You've always had it in you." Like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz type of thing. And
and she's very sweet. She's like, "Look, you've got your mojo. You've had it all along. You've saved the day. You've defeated the bad guy, and you're definitely going to get the girl. So you've got it. You didn't need that mojo. You have mojo. Your mojo is inside of you."
Yeah, that's the thing I've noticed. Throughout this whole movie, he said, "Oh, my mojo's gone," but he never acted like he never had his. He seemed to have his mojo throughout the whole thing. He was never.
True. I mean, he's still very cocky. He's still making all the sexual innuendos. He's still competently doing all this stuff throughout the movie. About the only thing he can't do is have sex, apparently.
Yeah, he's got the limp wang.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they could have done a little more with that. Maybe he wasn't as good of a spy without his mojo, or he didn't, or even just because he didn't have the same sort of confidence. Yeah, they could have done a little more with that. I agree.
Yeah, he seemed totally fine. It was there doesn't seem to be any absence of mojo. So what are we doing here?
There's all sorts of mojo stuff going on throughout, and yeah, I think they lied to us.
Oh dear. Oh, you're telling me this movie's a lie? Oh,
yeah, this movie based on a lie.
Oh dear. All right, so of course the moon unit that they're in, the moon unit Zappa, which is another joke they make. It looks like it's about to blow. The whole place is about to blow up. Dr. Evil makes his escape, and they get out of there, and they've saved the day. And yeah. Oh, and so basically, and also, I think at this point, I believe it's at this point where Austin's like, "You should come back to 1969 with me, because we're in love."
1999.
And
Yeah.
1999. Oh, right,
Yeah.
doy. 1999 with me because it's a groovy time because in the 70s and 80s they're not worth looking at because it's basically there's like a gas shortage and a flock of seagulls. That's pretty much it of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
that's
ooh,
yeah, and he convinces Felicity to go back to 1999 with him, which is a groovy time.
yeah, yeah, and they get back and they're having a time of it, and then we see Fat Bastard. He makes like one last attempt on Austin's life again in the tradition of the James Bond movies. Like they've done this a few times where they like we think all the bad guys are defeated, but like one of the henchmen got away, and they make one last attempt on Bond's life, and so we get a little bit of action in at the very end of the movie, and that's kind of fun, and Fat Bastard has a bit of a breakthrough. He realizes that his eating is compensating for his deep unhappiness, and he decides to turn over a new leaf.
Right. I'm unhappy because I can't stop eating, and I can't stop eating because I'm unhappy.
Yeah, yeah,
It really goes into like a lifetime, like original movie moment there for a bit.
it kind of does, kind of does. Yeah, what did you think of the character of Fat Bastard? We haven't talked about what we
Uh,
think of him too much.
I mean, he's not much of a character. I mean, he's just like he's a huge, gross, overweight Scottish person. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I remember at the time when the movie came out, people loved doing that voice, like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna eat you, get in my belly."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, but yeah, there's not much to him really. It's just like grossly overweight, and a lot of fat jokes and poop jokes. The Scottish accent's cool.
Yeah, good accent, good accent. You can always count on Mike Myers to do a nice Scottish accent. But yeah, I can see why Mini Me was the breakout character from this movie rather than Fat Bastard. Yeah, because also Fat Bastard, he's just kind of gross. There's a lot of gross stuff, and
Yeah,
Mini
it's
Me is
like
yeah,
yeah, Mimi's adorable, but yeah, Fat Bass. Like I think he's a little. He's so gross that it's like off-putting, or it's just like,
yeah,
oh, it's
yeah,
a lot. It's a lot.
yeah. It's a lot to take. Yeah, a little Fat Bastard goes a long way. Yeah,
Indeed, and yeah, and that's the movie. Like, I believe Felicity kicks him in the balls. He kicks Fat
yeah,
Bastard in the balls, or the mommy daddy button, as he calls it.
yeah. Yeah,
And
and
that's
all's well that ends well, and we find out, of course, that Doctor Evil survived to fight another day, and he's in space, and that the Wang spaceship even picks up Mini Me because they were like, well, we got a hit character here, and we're gonna want to put him in the next sequel. Fat Bastard, not so much. You're Fat Bastard, you're good. You just sit back down. Yeah, okay. Well, no, don't call us. We'll call you.
yes,
We'll call
exactly.
you Fat Bastard.
Yeah, I
But
mean, like if you watch this movie, like I know, I'm pretty sure I said it before in the last episode, but I don't know. Doctor Evil is just a funnier, more developed character than Austin Powers. I think he's like a funny. I don't know. There's something about him.
he can play a lot more notes than Austin can. Yeah, there's more versatile stuff there. I mean, he's got the relationship with his son. He's got his incompetent evil stuff. He's got the Frau Verbissina stuff, the number two stuff. He can relate to a lot more characters, and
Right.
yeah, yeah, and it's a cooler character, I think.
Yeah, and now he has the mini me connection, where
Yeah.
like there was that one scene where mini me put like a skunk in Scott's bed because like mini me and Scott have a very contentious relationship. And
Yes.
so, what was it like? Scott was like, "See that little maniac? Did he put a skunk in my bed?" And then Doctor Evil pretends to be mad at Mini Me, but he's not. It's like, "Oh, I can't be mad at him. Look at that little punum."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that line made a lot of my Jewish friends laugh out loud.
It's cute. You don't expect Doctor Evil to be breaking out the Yiddish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the movie. Then after that, we have some post-credit scenes where Scott Evil is back on Jerry Springer, and of course that's where he learns that Frau Farbissina is actually his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Springer has one of his final thoughts
Yes,
um,
which was the thing he did on his show.
yeah, yeah, and then we did another scene where a month later, Austin Powers comes home and he finds Felicity Shagwell in bed with another man, but that other man is him from 10 minutes ago. So it's like not really cheating.
Right, and presumably Felicity and the two Austins, they have a big, gigantic three-way. And yeah, and more power to them, I say.
Yeah, that I don't know. I still think that'd be kind of weird to have a three-way with myself. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's not really on the top of the list of sexual experiences I like to have. I mean, I feel like having just one of me there is enough. You know?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of me to
No,
just
I
yeah,
really need more of me there.
yeah,
No.
one of me to say I'm sorry and keep apologizing is enough. I think.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I don't need two of me being inadequate and disappointing. No, who needs that?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
this ended on an odd note.
It did.
We both discovered that we don't want to have sex with ourselves. So, okay.
Okay. So anything to plug?
You know what? Actually, I do. I have a couple of things to plug. Of course, we're not doing live stand up anymore, but or right now, I should say. But I did guest on another podcast this week on my friend, our friend Ray Gootz's podcast. He does a podcast about Disney movies, and he covered the movie Tarzan this week.
Oh, far out.
Yeah, so we talked all about the Disney 1999 movie Tarzan because apparently that's what I do now. I just talk about movies from 1999.
That's you found your niche.
Yeah, yeah, and it's Gootz's Disney Pod. It's a weekly show where he covers a different Disney movie each week, and he invited me to do the episode about Tarzan. So that just dropped a couple days ago, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, I look forward to listening to that and other
Yeah.
podcasts where you talk about 99 movies. 1999
Yes,
movies.
yes.
The
And
Green.
also, a book that I'm in that I have a piece in just came out this week. It's a book called From Bayou to Abyss, examining John Constantine Hellblazer. And it's all about the character of John Constantine, who's a famous comic book character if you read Vertigo comics in the 90s. See, I brought it back to the 90s
Okay.
again. And I wrote a piece in there about his history, and that's a lot of fun. Pick it up. There are a lot of good people in that, and it's on Amazon. Just look it up, From Bayou to Abyss. So,
All right. Far out. I'll give it a look. See, that sounds fantastic.
mhm.
I don't. I'm not talking about any 1999 movies and only podcasts. But if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
Cool. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Trumbull Comic, at TRUMBULL, and then the word comic. And you can follow the show page at SNL Nerds Show. And just let us know what you thought of this episode, what you want us to do for future episodes. We're always looking for ideas and stuff. But we got some fun stuff in the works for upcoming episodes of the show.
We got some good stuff cooking, people. It's gonna wet your whistle.
Yeah. Do we want to say what we're doing next week?
Sure. Let's go for it. Why not? What the hey?
Okay. Well, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Next weekend. We've talked about it. We've thought about it. We've crunched the numbers. We've talked to the people, and I think we're gonna do it, folks. We're gonna do an episode on Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Woo! Yes.
Available on Netflix.
We have been needing more Cox on this podcast for a long time. The people have been clamoring like more Cox. Give us more Cox. We can't get enough Cox.
Just shoving all those cocks.
We want that Dewey Cox all over us. And so we are giving the people what they want. We are giving them the Dewey Cox that they so crave.
Jesus Christ.
No, Dewey Cox. Dewey Cox.
Yeah.
People make that mistake a lot, but no, it's Dewey Cox.
Okay. Yeah. Dewey. Yeah. Movie came out in 2007, I believe. I remember seeing it in the theater, and I think it's one of those movies that when it came out didn't do great, but through time, it's kind of gained a cult following. People are starting to realize how great this movie is.
It still deserves some more love, though. It is a great movie, and people. I don't know why it didn't do better than it did. Maybe it was a bad ad campaign. I don't know, but it's a hilarious movie, and I'm really looking forward to us revisiting it for the podcast.
Absolutely. Oh, actually, you know what? If we have a little bit more time, I remember you mentioning that this movie, Austin Powers Spy Who Shagged Me, was under different titles in different
Oh yes,
countries.
yes. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. This is fun. Okay, so as we said, the Spy Who Shagged Me, kind of a risque title, and it didn't necessarily fly with every country. Um, so apparently, the Norwegian title of the movie is Splonnen Spom Spermit Meg, which is a slightly dirtier way of saying the spy who ejaculated on me.
Jesus Christ!
So the movie was marketed under that title. In South Korea, it was released in South Korea in 1999, but the first Austin Powers movie had never been shown in theaters and was only available on illegal videotapes under the title Incorrigible 007. In order to explain the characters and setting to the audience, the distributor attached Madonna's music video for Beautiful Stranger in front of the theatrical print and summarized the plot of Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery in on-screen subtitles during the music video. The first Austin Powers was eventually released to South Korean theaters for the first time in 2000 under the title Austin Powers Zero. That doesn't sound complicated at all.
Yeah, that doesn't. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's a little more. Hang on a second. They don't have all the. Okay, in Croatia, the film's title translates as "The Spy Who Groped Me." In Brazil, it's "The Spy Good in Bed." In conservative China, it's "The Spy Who Liked Me a Lot."
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, again, this is the IMDb trivia page. Anybody can put something up there, so take it with a grain of salt. But if that is true, that is hilarious.
The spy who enjoyed my company.
It says Singapore briefly forced a title change to "The Spy Who Shoiked Me," and shoiked means treated nicely.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And apparently there was a similar thing in Malaysia. It says they changed movie titles to make them more appropriate. They titled this Austin Powers, The Spy Who Behaved Very Nicely Around Me.
Good Lord.
Kind of missing the point, but...
kind of.
But, hey, that's the international world that we live in.
Oh, boy.
There was one other little funny bit of trivia related to the title. In the original script, the title reads Austin Powers 2, The Wrath of Khan, referencing the second Star Trek movie. The narrator then talks about this title and eventually says that due to a lawsuit, the movie will be renamed to Austin Pussy, like Octopussy. The narrator then says that the title needs to be changed again in order to obtain a PG-13. The title, The Spy Who Shagged Me, is then displayed. So,
all right. Wow. This has been eye-opening.
Yeah. So I mean, what did you think of this movie ultimately? Does it stand up to the first movie? Is the first movie better? Is this better than the first movie? What do you think?
I'm gonna say it's better. Like I thought. I think so. Yeah. I mean, yes, there are a lot more. It's a lot more product placement and a lot more jokes that were only funny in that time frame, like the Chili's and Jerry Springer and everything like that. But I mean, for the most part, I got a kick out of it. It had some pretty clever jokes, like what was it? Like Mufasa, the Will Ferrell part, I thought was pretty clever, and the that whole thing about like how the spaceship looks like a penis, but like they were just coming up with different names for it, like Woody and whatnot. Yeah, overall, like overall, I found it a little bit more enjoyable. And even in the beginning and in the battle, of course, it's like don't overthink this. Just go along for the ride and have fun. And if you do that, you'll find this a pretty pleasant, enjoyable, little fun little movie.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think I like the first one a little bit better. I think overall it's a funnier movie. And you got the thrill of the new.
Oh,
So
okay.
this one, by necessity, had to repeat a few things from the first one, and yeah, all the poop and all the scatological stuff. It took it down a little bit for me, and also I don't think that Heather Graham was as good as Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah,
So
no, I'll go with you there. But at the same time, the introduction of Mini Me it kind of bumps it up a little bit for me, and like the relationship Mini Me and Doctor Evil had, and I think they made like Doctor Evil like a lot more funnier in this one too, and gave him like a lot more stuff to do.
that's true. They did expand the character of Doctor Evil a bit more because he was kind of a breakout from the first one. So yeah, it's an enjoyable movie, but I think I still like the first one a little bit better.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I will admit this one's a lot more gross out than the first one. So like, if you really don't like gross out stuff, this will take it down a few pegs.
Yep. Yep. But
Yeah.
if you want to watch it, don't go to Netflix because Netflix took it away between the times that we were going to watch this episode and this movie and the time it came to do the episode. So I discovered this last night. I was like, oh, it's no longer on Netflix. Crap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I had it from Amazon Prime. So Amazon Prime now has $4.25 of my money that they didn't have before.
You're welcome, Amazon Prime.
Yep. So, but hey, I'm glad I was able to watch it somehow. So, thanks,
Yeah.
Amazon.
They could use your money. They're really struggling right now.
I know. Yeah, it's a tough time for Amazon. Won't someone please think of the multi-million-dollar corporations?
Yes. This little mom and pop operation needs your help.
Yep. All right. Anyway, I think we have talked long enough. So, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, please join us next week for Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. And until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.